can start all over, of course. Hey everybody, let's set up our machine quickly. Make sure your black cables are off the back handlebars. We're gonna be using those pretty quickly here for some abs and then also for some arms and for some legs later. Mermaid strap pulled away from your spring box. You will not need your red pole today, and that should be it. So quickly, modifications, ways to make things more accessible. Smaller range of motion. If you're at the front for core work, more springs is gonna make it more supported. If you're at the back and it's too much, you can always come up to the front. Let's get this party started, Jessica. We're gonna start really fun. I haven't even told her yet. Make sure you're on one yellow. We're gonna start with a little bit of core at the back. So hands on the back platform, knees up for giant reverse wheelbarrow. Fun one to start. Again, if you need to modify this opening one, you could take it up to the front. Hands start right under the shoulders. You'll see she's dropped her hips into this perfect modified plank position. Squeeze the butt, engage your core, take a big, deep, full breath in, and then start to slide backwards from your shoulders, moving really slow. Start with a small range of motion. Take a big pause at the back. We're already shaking here. And then nice and slow, pull forward. Remember here at the back especially, when you pull forward, you can absolutely stack your shoulders over your wrists for a second, or 2, or 3, or 5, or whatever it is. Just try not to let your shoulders go in front of your wrist line. You can still feel those abs burning when your shoulders are stacked up. Let's start to maybe increase range of motion now. We're already more than halfway through this one. Draw the navel in, your form looks perfect, Jess. Check in on those shoulders, everybody. Depress the shoulders, lengthen the neck, relax your jaw. Next one, let's slide it out. Maybe not to your furthest point ever, but slide it out. You feel the challenge, your abs are burning. You're still breathing really deep. You're squeezing your shoulder blades down your back. Your lats are engaged. Engage through those inner thighs, engage your butt. You've got 3 more seconds. We head back to full range in 2, nice and slow, all the way in, all the way back out. Looks awesome. 14 seconds. We're gonna try to keep our body in the same position as we come down to our elbows. You can lift your hips slightly to transition to protect your shoulders, but just try to get right back into this burn in 3, 2, 1. Elbows are down. You're in that nice modified plank. Now, let's just hold it here for a second. Shoulders right over the elbows. Back of the head is lifting. The tops of your feet are pushing down. Your inner thighs, really squeeze them together. Squeeze your butt cheeks even tighter. Engage your hips. Draw your navel up. Now make sure you keep your neck nice and long as you start to slide backwards from the shoulders again. So same movement, we just dropped onto our elbows, lowering through the center of gravity. Maybe a little less intense, but definitely spicy on that abdominal wall. I want you to also think about pushing into the forearm and maybe even the knife edge of your wrist rather than just pushing down into your elbows, so you distribute that weight a little bit more evenly. 10 more seconds, just like this, letting it burn. Really slow, really strong. You can hold the shoulders over the elbows for a second or 2 or 3 or 5 before you slide it out again. Good, next one, pull forward, stack your shoulders, take a big old inhale breath, and as you exhale, round your spine about halfway in, hold about right there, perfect, and then super slow into those pulses. 1 inch up, yes. 1 inch down, check your shoulders, check your neck, engage those lats, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your butt cheeks. 10 seconds here, we ride to the front. You need about 1 red and 2 yellows. We'll be laying on our back with the black cables. In 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Bring it in, take a ride. 1 red, 1 to 2 yellows. Grab your black straps and then turn and lay onto your back. Once you're laying on your back, extend your arms up to the ceiling. Don't worry. Don't worry, it was just a brief intermission. Mom's opening the garage door.
I specifically told
She forgot. Happens to the best of us. Arms up to the sky. Bring the knees into tabletop. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, very slowly start to press your arms forward. Start to extend your legs. Start to lift your shoulder blades. Just your shoulder blades up. Your low back, mid back stays on the carriage. Beautiful. And then nice and slow, resist as you come back to your starting position. Knees will stack right over the hips, hands come up above the shoulders, the head will rest for a beat. You want your shins to be about parallel to the floor, and then exhale. Press forward, extend the legs out, squeeze your belly down really tight here at the top. Spread your collarbones open, gazing a little bit more up than straight ahead, so your neck is long. And then real slow, reverse that as you come back down. Perfect. Take as many breaths as you need. Again, keep moving here. So exhaling to lift, squeezing those inner thighs, squeezing your butt. Draw the navel down so tight. I love how she just lowered her legs even more. And then coming back to that starting position. Remember, you can always let your head rest down for a rep when you move your arms and your legs if your neck is getting tired. Another way to modify this, keeping the knees bent while you just work the arms and the chest lift. That is all good. Just a couple more seconds here. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Start to bring it back down. Take a little reset. And your best one yet, press your straight arms all the way forward towards your hips. Extend your legs out, or maybe more up if you're getting tired. Peel your shoulder blades off the carriage, but your mid-back is anchored down a little bit lower. Exactly. Lift the chin a little bit. Hold here and just breathe. Keep that energy reaching forward through your hands. Keep your elbows really straight. Keep your legs really straight. Then the hard part, keep your breath really deep. Just 6, 5, we lay it back down in 3, 2, 1. Knees bend, hands come up, head comes down. Keep your arms there. Depress your shoulders. Extend your legs up towards the sky. Now, if your hamstrings are really tight, keep a bend in your knees, but try to keep the same shape in your legs as we move here. Slowly as you can, your legs begin to lower down. So you want to keep the front ribs hugging in. Perfect. Exhale as you lift the legs back up. Arms are staying still. They can press forward if that feels better on your neck and your shoulders. Head stays down, your chin is moving towards your throat. The movement here could be really small. Doesn't matter how far you're going, this should be burning already. Every time you come down, you hold briefly, a second, 2, 3, 4, whatever you've got. If you want to add a little pulse down there, be my guest. So we're trying to maintain the integrity of our spine here. Got a couple more seconds to go. What that means is you're simply moving your thigh bones in your hip sockets. If you begin to lower your legs down and you feel your back start to lift off the carriage, that's just not where you're at today. We have to maintain the integrity of the spine first. Your legs move as much as they can without the spine changing shape. Next one, lower your legs down, any amount you can hold, and we stay here for 8. Legs are hovering as low as they can, arms are nice and strong. Take a big inhale. In 3 seconds, the arms press, the chest lifts as the knees bend. In 2 and 1, big exhale, press with the arms, lift with the chest. The knees are in that nice tabletop shape. You're reaching your hands forward, and then we resist as we come back. Hands go up, head comes down, legs extend out. Again, if you need to modify, aim your legs up a little more than out, or maybe keep them bent. Keep moving. Nice and slow. Yes, you can absolutely change your foot action here. You can point your toes, you can flex your feet. If you've been doing one for the first 2 exercises, maybe you flip it to the other option now. Last little push here, and we're moving on. Getting right to it today. Just saying. Hug those front ribs down again. You've got 10 seconds. Breathing in. Breathing out. Next one, press your arms all the way forward. Lift your chest. Option to keep your knees bent. For an added challenge, extend them out again. It's all you. Breathe. Lift higher off those shoulder blades. You've got 8, 7, 6, come up a little bit higher. We're gonna keep the cables and spin around for a seated bicep curl. In 3, 2, 1, awesome. So keep your cables. As you turn around, if your shoulders are super tired, you could take a yellow or 2 off. You're gonna be sitting down on your butt. Your feet are gonna be on the carriage. With this spring load, we don't balance on this one, so sit on your butt, feet forward. And then once you're there, you're gonna lean yourself back till you feel that abdominal wall catch. Think a long, tall, straight spine. Now try to lift your elbows so they're right in line with your shoulders. And this is gonna be shoulder stability as well. And then from there, really freaking slow, like really freaking slow. I want you shaking on the first one. You're gonna stop at just a sliver beyond that 90-degree bend. So like right here, don't come all the way here. Keep your wrists really straight. Keep those shoulders plugging down, and then squeeze your core tighter. And then you're gonna extend your arms slowly all the way back to straight. It feels so good, I think. Yeah, totally. And then squeeze, perfect tempo, Jessica. This looks awesome. Hug those front ribs in a little bit. Yes, perfect. Just like that, nice and slow, nice and steady, waking up the upper body a little bit more. We're still kind of passively working those abdominals. You just fired up though. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Fire up your inner thighs. You only have about 10 more seconds. We're gonna start to bring the heart rate up, moving right into the legs. On your next one, take your time, go all the way to straight first. Check your core when your arms are straight. Curl your arms into 90, hold it. Keep those shoulders plugged in and not lifting and lowering. Just lift your elbows like 1 to 2 inches higher and breathe with everything you've got for 5. We're gonna pop on another red super lunge left side. 3, 2, 1. So add on another red spring. We're gonna have a row moving here now. So left foot forward, right toes back, your right toes are tucked. And then you can stand up, and then we're gonna come down and start in a nice little hover. So left knee right over the ankle, right knee is hovering off the carriage, form looks perfect. And we're just gonna row. Just a couple breaths here. So kind of warming up that booty a little bit. You're pushing down heavily into your left heel. As you row in, keep those front ribs hugging back. You can always lean a little bit more forward here. Now, if your balance is not great, you could always take a knee whenever you need it. Once we start to move more, you could definitely do this on the floor or with the red cables at the back of the machine if you have room at the back of your machine. Just a few more seconds. See if you can hover down a little bit lower and really start to feel the stretch in the right hip flexor, the drop in your tailbone, this deep, deep core work. Also, I should mention, you're breathing deeply here. You need fresh oxygen coming to these muscles. 3, 2, your arms go straight. You sink down a little bit lower. It feels delightful. And then you start to rise up as you row. Really squeeze those shoulder blades back, but be careful. Try not to straighten your knee completely at the top. We're trying to keep these legs working all the way through. Yes, exactly. You extend the arms. You come down real low. Check the core at the bottom. Good, and then you rise back up. Next one, let's come all the way down to the bottom. And then see what it feels like to row your arms all the way back. Squeeze your blades, pull the ribs in, abs are nice and tight. And then give me a little squeeze down here and a little squeeze up. You are trying to stay really low. We're just trying to spice up that left booty a little bit. Imagine you had the bungee on there. No bungee today, PS. 8 seconds, your neck is long, gaze forward, your breath is still deep. There's a whole lot to think about. 3, 2, extend your arms all the way straight, sink down a little bit lower, and then rise. Come back to full range. Good. Once you hit the top, you're coming right back down. No problem. Breathing in, breathing out. Still trying to get low. That's the hardest part for me. I start to like cheat myself a little bit as my hips start to fire, especially that right thigh back there. Push it. Yeah, Jess. Awesome. Couple more seconds just like this. Next one, let's come all the way down to the bottom. Hold it nice and deep. Pull your arms all the way back again. Tuck your lower abs in. Push your left heel so heavy. Squeeze your right butt cheek. And now all I want you to do is come down a little bit lower. Really push your edge. 3, give me squeezes down. Squeeze it down. 8, yes, squeeze it down. We don't even have to stand up again. Changing our springs for runner's lunge in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, good fight. About 1 red, maybe 1 or 2 yellows. If you don't have a platform strap like Jessica, I'm gonna take her actually down to 1 red. Left foot forward, right toes back against the strap. Let's get really low again. Yes, this feels a lot like what your legs just felt in your super lunge. That is on purpose. So you've got an isometric hold now on your left leg. You'll see Jessica's got left knee stacked right over the ankle. The knee is tracking in line with the toes. That leg is your focus, but that leg is trying not to move. You should feel the very back of your butt cheek light on fire when you push down into that heel. I want you to try to squeeze your right butt to drive the right leg back. A lot of us can feel this kind of quad dominance. The front of your right thigh is burning. Try to initiate the movement with action. So every time you push your right leg back, I want you to hold it there for a second, squeeze the butt cheek, tell it that you want it to work, and then resist as you come in. You'll do the same thing at the front of the movement. Hold your right leg there, squeeze your right butt cheek, and then drive it back. I love this exercise for the core work, especially in my current state when the regular core work is not quite accessible anymore. This is great core stability. If you think back to when we were lowering and lifting our legs, laying on our back, same goes here. We want to maintain the integrity of your spine. That's your core working as your legs do whatever they're doing. On your next one, let's slide your right leg all the way back as far as you can go without locking the knee. Now, when you push heavily back through your right leg, our tendency is to shift back in the front leg. So make sure your knee is still right over your ankle on the left side. You're still really heavy in the heel. Now, slowly as you can, bend your right knee all the way in so it's right underneath your hip. This burns a lot. Squeeze your right butt cheek, squeeze your left butt cheek, squeeze your inner thighs together. It shakes, hopefully. Can you get a little bit lower? What about even lower than that? And I'm all about using the black handlebars on this one, you guys. Just a few more seconds. 4. Whew, feels so good. 3, we go back to our best range of motion yet. In 2, all the way out, fight for it. Resist it on the way in. You only have 15 seconds here. You're gonna be stepping off to the left side of the machine. 2 yellows is easier. 1 is standard. I'm gonna change Jessica's so she can get right into floor lunge. In 3, last lunge on this side, 2 and 1. Awesome. So now we're going to light, and tricky, we will be going back to heavy. Your left foot lines up with the 4, your right toes tucked back on the 10. You'll see Jessica extends her right leg first, and then she begins to lunge down into the left leg. I keep a lean forward in this exercise just like Jessica does. This is great lengthening for that right hip flexor, especially after the last 2 exercises. Massive hamstring pull on that left side. Booty should be burning, again, that very back of the butt cheek. If your knee tends to track inward, turn your toes out a sliver. Make sure your knee turns out a sliver so you can get that gluteus medius to activate as well. Try your best right now, A, to balance using the bars, not at all, or just not the whole time. Try to push yourself to get a little bit lower, which is hard in this one because of the stretch in the hips. This is great mobility for your hips and your inner thighs. Also, the most important out of all these challenges I'm giving you is try not to straighten your left knee at the top. Try to keep that burn going. Yeah, next one, let's come all the way down to the bottom and hold it there. And just breathe, just a few seconds like this. We're breathing, we're squeezing, you're pushing your left heel down, you're squeezing your right butt cheek, your inner thighs are active, your rib cage is tipping in. Don't do much, but lean an inch more forward. And then check your spine. Draw the navel in, lift the ribs. This looks awesome, Jessica. Shoulder blades melt down the back. Can you get a little lower in your left leg? Now, one more time. Slowly, lean 1 more inch forward. Feel the difference. Oh, yeah, Jessica. Feels so good. Can you get a little bit lower? We have 3 seconds. It feels so good. 2, now very slowly, lift your spine those 3 inches back up. Keep your legs, sink in a little bit lower. Feel that right hip stretch. Full range, go slow. Yeah, up. Once you hit the top, you're right back down. You've got 30 seconds of full range. Take this challenge if you can. See if you can bring your hands to prayer, just right in front of your heart. If you wanted more than that, reach them forward. But yeah, we're going for balance now. We're digging in. This is your last 15 seconds. If you can get it to shake, get it to shake. Like I said before, we're going back to heavy. So you're gonna be facing to your right, about 1 red and 2 yellows. for standing outer thighs. In 3, 2, and 1. So I'm changing Jessica's springs. I'm keeping her slightly lighter because she doesn't have a strap on the front platform. Toes point straight ahead. Your weight is evenly distributed from the front and back of your foot. Soft bend in the knees. And then we're pushing, nice adjustment. We're pressing out. Do hinge forward. If it's okay with your back, lean forward till your spine, your chest is facing the floor when your legs are as far apart as they're going to be. Make sure you take a pause there when you're there and check your spine. Whatever we're doing with the legs, the integrity of the spine is the most important. The ab work in this one is the hardest part for me, especially when I first started doing it. I guess my thighs were weak, relatively speaking, and I would always like arch my back to get the carriage out further. You don't want any part of that. If you have a mirror, I'm Jessica's mirror in this occasion, I would tell her if her spine was doing anything like shifting or arching. Use your mirrors if you've got them. Or even use your hands, right? Like you can check and see what your back and your front are doing. On your next one, start to press it out, and I should mention it pretty quickly here. We're only doing this specific exercise on one side today. So as we hold it out here, do this slowly, maybe even use the bars below you to help you balance. Shift, keep your heels down, but shift forward into the balls of your feet a little bit more and push down heavily. Soften your knees, but see if you can turn your knees a sliver inwards. Yeah, inwards, not outwards. Squeeze those outer butt cheek pockets and then engage your abs and try to push it out a little bit further. Yeah, just 5. Ooh, feels so good. 3, 2, head back to full range. You've got 20 seconds here. Awesome. Keeping the hips stacked over the ankles as you upright yourself is even harder. We tend to shift the booty back because we're trying to help ourselves balance. How do you fix that? You go slower so that balance is a little bit easier. In 5, push it all the way out. 3, 2, push it out. We're just holding here briefly. In 4, we're gonna bring it in just a sliver wider than hips distance for squats. In 2, don't let it close. On 1, so start to bring it in. Stop your feet a little bit wider than your hips. You could adjust your toes. I like to turn mine outwards a little bit from where they were, and then come down nice and low into your squat. Once you're in your squat, push your knees outward. Yeah, feel that, feels delightful. And then let's start to rise up. Once you hit the top, try to come right back down. Just like we talked about in your floor lunge and your super lunge, you're trying not to lock your knees at the top. Why? Because we want to create endurance in these slow twitch muscle fibers. They are your endurance muscle fibers, so it takes longer to fatigue them. If you're doing one and then standing up and taking a break, you're basically starting all over. Now, there's kind of asterisks here. If you tend to have pressure in your back, if you're feeling this in your back, please straighten your legs at the top, give your butt a nice little squeeze, check that core, and come back to it. Know what your goals are, but also know where your strength is on any given day. Nice and slow. Good. Next one, take your time. Your form looks perfect, Jessica. Let's come all the way down to the bottom and hold it. Just breathe. Push yourself to get lower. If you can break the parallel plane, try to get your butt down below your knees. And we're not pulsing. We're just holding. And for me, I definitely use the bars like Jessica does. It just helps me get out of my head a little bit. Push your heels down and then push into the balls of your feet again. Squeeze your core around your spine. Hug your armpits down. You have 4. Breathing, breathing. Fight for it. 2 and 1. We start to rise up. Go slow. This is where we finish in full range. Burning those thighs out a little bit. Digging in. Now, we are going to change up something here. We're under 60 seconds. In 4, I'm going to ask you to go a little bit faster. In 3, 2, full range, just up, down, up, down. So moving a little faster. Down, up, down, up. Let your heart rate rise. Down, up, 5, down, up, 4, 3, 2, back to so freaking slow. Your last 20 seconds, how slow can you go? We're gonna turn and face towards the front of your machine. We're gonna come into what we call a high plank on the handlebars. It's also heavy, so that's a little different. Your toes are gonna be back in the eyelets. Your hands are gonna be on the curvy bars. You're gonna hold it. Your carriage will be maybe an inch open, shoulders over the wrists. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So step your feet back first. Hands are on the bars. And then come into your plank. So kind of shift your weight forward into your arms. Feel the tension on the springs. You'll see Jessica's in this perfect line. Her ears, shoulders, hips to heels, all engaged. Now while you're here, push into your toes for me a little bit. Engage your quads. Squeeze your butt and engage your hips. Your legs, you guys, should be really, really active right now. Lift the back of your head. And now as slowly as you can, let's move into our flying push-ups. Your elbows bend back about 45 degrees, so not straight out to the sides, about 45 degrees off your rib cage. Your butt, your abs still squeezing as you come down nice and slow. Perfect range of motion, Jess. Breathing in, breathing out. If you needed to, you could do this from your knees. I prefer making it a smaller range of motion because your heart rate's gonna stay a little bit more elevated. You have only 10 more seconds. We're gonna change our springs as we come to the back. I would say 3 yellows for most of you, 4 is heavier, 2 is on the lighter side for an underhand grip lat pull. In 2 and 1, good job. Turn it around, 2, 3, or 4 yellows, kick up to the back, and then bring your hands shoulder distance with an underhand grip, palms face up. Drop your hips back, drop your chest forward, neck is nice and long. Core is a big part of this, also kind of feels like a squat again. So your butt should literally be fire. Your inner thighs are still active. If you can figure out where your toes are right now, point them so you feel your calves even. Nice, slow, steady movements. Hardest part here is when you get to the heaviest part, when you pull all the way in, we tend to shift and let our shoulders round forward. You're not bad if that's happening to you, but I just want you to be cognizant of it and fix it. Plug those shoulders in every time you can. Make sure also, that last inch especially, make sure that you're not flaring your wrists, right? Yeah, your wrists are gripping. We're building grip strength here. That is all good, but don't let the tension carry over into the joints of your wrists. Keep it in the biceps and the back. You're gonna feel your shoulders working as well. Now, no holds, no challenges on this one. You only have about 15 seconds. We're simply gonna flip our grip around and then we'll start to bring in those challenges. And I'll tell you now, staying in this position with your little squat and your spine is getting harder. You need to make adjustments to perfect it. In 3, we flip our grip. 2 and 1. Flip to palms facing down, hands about the same distance, same idea here. You're coming all the way in, and you're going all the way out. 10 seconds, we'll start to bring in those challenges. I promise this is the last one here. We're gonna grab those cables again after this. Good, next one, bring it in pretty tight. Let's say like 3/4 of the way in, not all the way. So you have room to move. Check your shoulders really quick, plug your neck in, engage the core, squeeze your butt, adjust how you hold your pelvis if you need to. Slowly 1 to 2 inches out. Perfect form, Jessica. 1 to 2 inches in. Shoulders are plugging with every breath. Yep. 1 to 2 inches in. Good. 1 to 2 inches out. Now hold it in. Keep your left hand. Bring your right hand down onto the front edge of the carriage so you can help keep your shoulders square. Go full range with just your left arm. You guys, this should be heavy. If you're at your edge, you should be. It doesn't need to be the same size movement. I know, it's difficult. We're almost there. In 5, we switch sides. Make sure your right shoulder isn't hiking to your ear. Pull it about 3/4 of the way in. Bring your right hand up. Push the left hand down to the front edge. Make sure your shoulders are square. And then go with just your right arm. So when we take one arm off like this, it becomes anti-rotation. You've got to use your obliques, your core stabilizing muscles a little bit more. Just a few more seconds. We're gonna go straight into that pulse right from here. In 3, pull about 3/4 of the way in. 2, Hold it, bring that left hand back up. 1 to 2 inches out, 1 to 2 inches in. I'm not gonna keep your hair long. Fight for it. Spine looks perfect, Jessica. Everybody open up that breath a little bit. 3, 2, big full range, all the way out, all the way in, under 15 seconds. We ride to the front. You need about 1 red, 1 to 2 yellows. We've been here before. Seated biceps in 3, 2, 1. Good job. So we're gonna do something a little bit different on this one. Grab your black cables, set it up, plant your feet down, but now I want you to walk your sits bones forward underneath you so you're more leaning back onto your sacrum. It's hard for me to demonstrate with my big belly these days, but you wanna be in a C curve, exactly. Lift the chin, still popping the chest. It's more in the lower spine. Palms face up, and we're gonna curl those arms in. I want you to try to coil the pubic bone. If you don't know where your pubic bone is, it's right where you think it is. Imagine you're trying to touch your pubic bone onto the ceiling, but you're trying not to let that affect your neck and your shoulders. It's hard. It's a battle. It's a constant adjustment. If you're here and you're like, geez, this feels too heavy to be lifting my pubic bone onto the ceiling, you might be right. You could take the longer straps in your hands, and that would be okay. If it's still too heavy, inch your butt forward. If it's still too heavy, adjust your springs. No big deal. Big inhales, big exhales. Remember, we're trying to go all the way to straight, Jessica. Oh, all the way. Still lifting the pubic bone. Yeah, and then curling in just 90. Feels so good. Yes, we are almost there. Last 10 seconds. We're gonna finish with that same hold. We're gonna travel right back into that right leg. We'll be coming down the mountain, really. Next one, curl your arms in, lift your pubic bone to the ceiling, hug those front ribs down to press your shoulders, lift your chin. I know, can you lift your elbows a little higher for 4? Adding on another red, we go super lunge. 3, 2, 1, good job. Add on another red, adjust your yellows however you need. This time your right foot is forward. Take a lunge, so just like come up and then come back down and sit down deep. When you're ready, we're hovering on the right side. So your deep, deep bend in the right knee, your left knee hovers. You could lean a little forward here. And then we're gonna row. So your arms are coming in, you're squeezing your shoulder blades. Your heart rate's already up a little higher than it was on the first side. Bonus! Your right heel is drilling down. That helps me forget about the sensation in my left leg by focusing on clenching that right butt like it's going to fall off. Go a little slower, come down a little bit lower. You're not here long. Slow, squeezing those shoulder blades together at the back, the ribs hug down. Yeah. And then resisting as the arms go, and then pulling even stronger on that next one. You have like 8 seconds. Stay with it here. Keep breathing, keep those shoulders depressed, keep your eye on the prize. 4 seconds, I know. Good. Next one, extend your arms all the way straight. Do this really slowly. Come all the way down. Oh yeah, and then rise up as you row. Perfect. Once you hit the top, you're coming right back down, digging in. Big inhales and big exhales. Again, slightly different on the second set of legs. We don't have our outer thighs, and we have a different variation of the squat coming in. Next one, take your time. Let's come all the way down to the bottom. Settle into that nice deep lunge again. We're getting tired of this position by now. Pull your arms all the way in, squeeze the blades, lean a little bit forward, push heavy into that right heel. Squeeze your left butt cheek, that's your other butt. Little squeeze down, moving really slow, getting a little lower than you want, and a little squeeze up. It's more about staying low, it's more about the emphasis on the down. Exactly, Jessica, this looks so good. 3, 2, hold it low, perfect. Extend your arms all the way straight and take a big old row as you exhale, rise up, yeah. Try to keep the elbows closer to your sides. Try to keep those front ribs hugging in. This is like, all these reminders, no doubt when I'm doing this exercise, these things are running through my head. It's a constant adjustment. It is a battle between you and you yesterday. On your next one, let's settle in. Start to take your time, come all the way down to the bottom. Push heavy in that right heel, maybe lean a little forward, row your arms all the way in. Yeah, let it shake, come down a little lower. We hold it here. So right now, holding is like the hardest part, right? You're forced into feeling the things you don't want to feel. So strong, 3 seconds. Give me little squeezes, down, down, down. You don't even have to come back to full range. It's 5, down, down. We've got runner's lunge, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, sister. Woo! Turning it around, exactly. Right foot is up this time. About 1 red and 2 yellows for most of you. Less yellows is lighter. I have Jess all the way on 1 red because she doesn't have a strap on the front platform. Deep bend in the right knee. We're pushing that left leg all the way back. So I'm always wondering like just how strong this chick's legs are because I cannot push runner's lunge out 1 time without shaking. Even if it's my first exercise of class, this is like the shakiest lunge for me. Keep that deep bend in the right knee. Keep that right heel pushing heavily down. And remember, every time you push your left leg back, you're gonna hold it back there a brief second, not as a challenge, but to cultivate this body awareness and strength. Tell your body to do what you want it to do. When you hold that left leg back, you're gonna squeeze your left butt cheek and resist it on the way in. You know what you're gonna do at the front of the exercise, the front of the movement? You're gonna hold it there a second, squeeze your butt cheek. Before you push it out, you're telling your body, your brain, what muscle you want to use to complete the movement. Most of us, guilty as charged, start to light up this left thigh a lot. It's a byproduct, right? It should burn, but we do wanna feel the push from the butt. Think of bungee, right? Imagine I tipped you forward from where you are. You would be bunging through your left butt. Next one, start to kick your left leg all the way back. Don't lock out the knee, but hold it back there. Bend into your right knee more. Push heavier into your right heel. Tuck your abs in, squeeze your shoulder blades down your back. You've got it. Take an inhale, and as slowly as you can, I like the shake. Bend your left knee in real slow, so it's right under your hip. Perfect, leveling out those hips, hold it. Push heavier into that, no, come up. Where are you going? Bend your right knee, push your right heel, grab the bars, hold on for dear life. I care very little. Hold those bars if you need. Even lower, 3 seconds. We finish in full range in 2 and 1, all the way out, woo, all the way back in. That feels like relief right now, 20 seconds. It's fine, it's all fine. Now we are gonna step to the right side. There is a spring change. I'm gonna change Jessica's for transition purposes so she can keep her right booty burning. 1 yellow, you guys, 2 will make it a little bit more supported. In 5, your right foot lines up by the 2. I know it, Jessica. 3, 2, 1, good job. So step off right foot by the 2, left toes tuck 8, and immediately you start to bend down into that right knee. Last lunge, you've only got 1 more leg exercise. However, we haven't done the obliques yet, so they're coming. Hips are square level. It feels so good. What's wrong with your butt, Jessica? As I was saying, lunge to lunge to lunge. I did this on purpose. We started with a dynamic split lunge, and then I had you hold the split lunge. And now I'm having you do one of the more intense, like hamstring and hip exercises. We tend to store a lot of tension in our hips, so if you're angry at me when you're down towards the bottom of your lunge, it's not the weirdest thing ever. Just try to breathe through it. Try to use your arms less and less, catch your balance, try to keep a bigger bend in the knee at the top, and push yourself to get lower. There should be an element of stretch at the bottom. Next one, let's start to come all the way down into the bottom of your lunge. Now, once you feel like you're at the bottom, check that you're pushing into your heel actively. Lift the front of the pelvis a little bit. Same thing as like the pubic bone. Imagine you're aiming it forward. Hold it here. Squeeze your inner thighs, and as slowly as you can, lean 1 inch forward of where you are. Pull the shoulder blades down towards the hips, lengthen out your neck, it's included with your spine. Good, and then take another big inhale, do this slowly, lean 1 more inch forward, awesome. Left hip a little bit forward, right hip a little bit back. Take a big old inhale. Let's do it one more time. Lean 1 more inch forward. Looks so good in the spine, Jessica. If you can get a little bit lower, you guys get a little bit lower. We're almost there. 3 seconds. Let it shake. Maybe hands off the bars. Maybe not though. Whatever you need with your arms, do this slowly. It's going to burn, but it's brief. Lift your spine back up those 3 inches. Feel it, catch it, tuck your tail. Slowly rise up. Now for this last 20-something seconds, can you bring your hands into prayer and catch your balance? If you wobble, good. You're training that balance. It's good stuff. Try not to lock your knee. We have a spring change coming. You're gonna face to your left for sumo squat. So not maybe your widest turnout ever, but your toes and your knees are gonna be turned more out to the side, so we still work our outer thighs while we stretch our inner thighs. 1 red, I would say 1 to 2 yellows. In 3, 2, 1, good job. So I'm gonna keep Jess on 1 red again. The strap thing messes with my brain if I don't have it, and I feel like my socks are gonna slide off the front. So I am just accommodating that. Toes turn out a little bit more, say like 45-ish degrees. Push it out so that your knees are gonna be over your ankles when you squat down. Nice and slow. Yeah, good. Now try to get actually literally parallel to the floor. Yeah, like lower. Oh yeah, a little lower. Good. Drop your tail, feels delightful. And when you're ready, you're gonna start to rise up. So you wanna try to hold the carriage still. Your legs can straighten here, but remember you are trying to keep a constant tension. I would say on this one it's a little different, especially with the turnout. Straightening your legs at the top, you're still working your outer thighs and your outer butts because you gotta hold the carriage where it is. It's a little bit further out than before. Good, nice and slow. Breathe, what? She's making faces over here, you just can't see it. Come all the way down and hold it nice and deep. Try to get your thighs literally physically parallel to the floor. Push into the outside edge of your feet like you're spreading your knees out even wider, stretching those inner thighs. Your abs are so tight, your spine is tall here. You're trying to reduce the lean forward to stretch into those hips a little bit more. 3, 2, let's start to rise up. Awesome, about 20 seconds. We're gonna challenge that tempo again, which I will tell you is harder on this one with the turnout, harder for balance. So if you need to keep it a little bit slower, you can. In 3, let's come all the way down to the bottom. 2, all the way down, here we go. And now we're up, down, 20 seconds. Light it up, try to hold that carriage still, pushing into all 4 corners of your feet. A little bit faster if you've got it, just 5, a little bit lower as well. 3, 2, as slow as you can go. Here we are, last 15 seconds. We're gonna come into a plank position with your hands on the 2 and the 4. You're gonna need to change your springs. I've got Jessica's, she'll be on 1 yellow. You guys, 2 is gonna be more support. In 3, 2, and 1, good job. So 1 yellow, 2 is more support, hands are on the 2 and the 4. Ooh, this feels good after that squat, I feel like. Take a big old breath into your lungs. Exhale all that air out of your lungs, and then as slowly as you can, begin to bend your knees towards your right elbow only. Yeah, so squeezing the left side of the waist. Keep your shoulders level. Keep your legs really active and strong. You're squeezing your butt cheeks. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have any pulses. I don't have any push-ups. I don't have any sawing of your shoulders. I'm not even gonna say mountain climbers. But if you wanted to add on anything, you could add a pulse. You can definitely take a push-up. You could saw your shoulders forward if that makes you happy. You could take a little mountain climb when your legs are straight, whatever you like. Otherwise, focus on going slower than you normally do. Like we did in runner's lunge, I want you to squeeze your left oblique before you bend your knees. When your knees are bent, I want you to spend a second or 2 squeezing your left oblique before your legs go back out to straight. You only have a few more seconds. I'm gonna get you off your hands. We're coming to the back for side crunch. If you are on 2 yellows, probably make sure you come down to 1. If you need to modify, you can stay right here at the front. In 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Elbows on the back platform, knees hook up against the strap. Your knees are gonna aim to your right, So your feet are gonna hang off slightly left. I keep my right knee stacked on top of my left, but it really has more to do with the flexibility of your spine than how your knees interact with each other. Make sure the action is lifting up that C curve, right? Like you're gonna bring your hip bone closer into your armpit. It is not about pulling your knees in. If you start pulling the knees forward, you are gonna feel that outer left thigh and outer left butt, especially because we worked it specifically not that long ago. Your chin moves towards your throat. Next one, hold it about 3/4 of the way out. So a little bit more than halfway out. Squeeze your left side waist, tuck your tail, and then slowly 1 inch in and up, and 1 inch out and down. Your elbows are pushing down. You're trying to connect your forearms as well. Your neck is long. You're breathing really deep. That left side is on fire. Literally, it should be fire right now. For 3, 2, take it back to full range. Last 20 seconds here. No other holds, no other challenges. For me, going slow at this point is challenging. Staying in that range of motion when it's burning is challenging. You're gonna face to your left for your mermaid, right hip down in 3, smooth transitions please, in 2 and 1, awesome. So right hip is on the back platform, left foot hooks up with the strap on the floor. Make sure that you're not sitting on top of your butt, but you're sitting more to the side of your hip. When you're ready, you start to lean it down. Try not to come all the way up. You're trying not to like round as you come up. You wanna stay in that nice long diagonal. Not super concerned with getting low either. If you feel this in the back of your left hip, make sure that your hips are square, and also don't go down so low. Let's slow it down just a little bit. Chin towards throat, shoulder blades towards each other, front ribs are still hugging in, and you're still tucking your tailbone. Imagine you're trying to put your pubic bone on the wall or mirror in front of you. Big inhales, big exhales, big range of motion. We're just sticking with this nice, strong, full range of motion. Bring the back of the head back just a little bit. There you are, good adjustment. Slow your breathing down just a little bit. You have about 20 seconds in full range. We're gonna end in the challenge so you will not have to go back to full range. We're gonna burn her out. 10 seconds left. Your foot is lifting against the strap, but your knee is soft. Relax that left thigh just a little bit. Next one, take your time, make your way down to your challenging spot. And I'm not saying low is best. I'm saying find the spot where you feel that left oblique, not your left hip, just light on fire. Maybe your arm goes to the sky, slow, tiny, little squeezes, little flexes. Think less movement, more just flexing in your body, like we did with the butt cheeks in runner's lunge. Last 3, we turn around, 2 and 1. Let's turn it around, face the other way. Right foot lifts against the strap, and we're moving right on through. Slow, steady, tailbone is heavy. I always, when I do these 2 back to back, I'm like, geez, my right side is weak. Because I always have a much better range of motion and much better stamina on the left side. Probably because my right side is the boss most of the time. Keep it slow. Keep your breath deep. Every time you come down to the bottom, you do want to hold there at least a brief second. Not like a challenge, but just feel your body when you feel gravity pulling you down sideways. Squeeze onto the right side of the waist as you lift up. We're almost there. About 20 seconds. Coming down this mountain real fast. We're on the home stretch now. Finishing off the obliques, and then we'll finish on the center core. Big inhales, big exhales, relax the jaw, the neck, the throat, soften your gaze in, and imagine you're trying to bring your pubic bone towards the wall in front of you. Breathe. Good. Relaxing your right thigh a little bit, tucking those abs in. So think center core at the same time that you think right side. Let's hold it down on your next one, whatever you like with your right arm. Again, think more action than actual movement. Give me little squeezes right here. This is where we finish. You're gonna step to either side of the machine to pull the carriage to the back for that side crunch. Good, last 5. Lengthen out that neck. 3, perfect. 2 and 1. Step out to either side. pull the carriage to the back. The sides are this way. There you go. Good job.
I was reversing it.
I like it. Front, back, side to side. Who really cares? Elbows down. And then, but she still made the transition fast, so who really cares? Knees, again, I stack my left knee slightly on my right because I got a pretty big pivot. It doesn't matter if your knees are stacked. It's more about how you're engaging through the right side of your body. Elbows are pushing down. The weight should feel even in your upper body, in your shoulders, in your elbows, in your forearms. And then the lift, the coil is coming up through that right side waist. So again, rather than pulling your knees in, imagine you're rounding your spine, trying to bring your hip bone closer to your armpit. You're effectively shortening the right side and lengthening the left. Next one, slide it about 3/4 of the way out. Hold it there. Set your armpits, check your neck, lift through that right side, and give me like 1 inch out, 1 to 2 inches up and in. You're breathing here, maybe even closing your eyes, squeezing your inner thighs together, squeezing your butt cheeks together. If you do all these things, your calorie burn is going to be that much higher. The intensity rises. 3, 2, we're in full range now, all the way out, all the way in. We ride to the front. From here, you're going to come into your high plank. Hands will be on the 2 and the 4. 2 yellows is easier. Last 3, 2, 1. Good job. Take a ride to the front. Remember, pop on a second yellow if you need it. Scoot yourself back just like Jessica did. Hands are on the 2 and the 4. Legs extend out into your full plank. Feels so good. Just holding the plank for now. You're fine. Chin towards throat. Elbows real soft. Slowly as you can. Begin to bend your knees just to the left. We're squeezing the right side waist. Slowly extending back out. Now, ideally, this is dancing bear. Ideally, you'll see Jessica bends her knees to the left, and then as she extends out, she's squaring her hips back to the floor. This is harder. If you wanted to make it a little bit easier on the spine especially, you could keep your knees turned off to the left the whole time, and that's another way to do it. I'm not giving you any challenges, any holds, but if you wanted one, push-ups, a pulse, a mountain climb, maybe a saw of your shoulders, anything you've got. You'll only have about 10 seconds here. Big challenge coming out of this one. Good, last 6 seconds. We're gonna hold it out into the plank in 3. Take it all the way out into your plank, 2, hold it here. Now the battle is on. We're in our last few moments. As slowly as you can. I've got you, and I believe in you. I think you can do this. Start to pike your hips to the sky. Our goal right now is not height, but yeah, getting up as high as you can. We want to try to stay in this movement. Try not to drop your knees. Keep those heels lifted so high. Beautiful. And then resist on the way out. When you are starting to gas, you guys, your pike does not have to be as high. I'm still practicing plank to pike when I take class, even though I got this guy. My pike looks like 1/3 of the size of Jessica's, and that's A-okay. I still feel my abs stabilizing. I feel the whole thing. We've got 10 seconds. We made it through. Yes, so good. Shoulders are lifting towards the hips when you come upside down, away from those ears. 5. Knees replace the toes immediately into that modified plank. Stay on your hands if you can in 2 and 1. So knees down, hands up. We've been here before. It feels like the beginning of class, except I'm not as spicy because we're at the front of the machine. I could say, hey, giant reverse again, but no, I'm not, because I'm kind. Slowly as you can, let's start to saw your shoulders forward. How do you make this easier? If you're totally tapped out, you still want to go really, really slow. You still want to fight to stay in the shape. You make the range of motion smaller. Another way to make it easier, which I frequently do, you could scoot your hands back a little bit further. You could scoot your knees forward as long as they're not already at the front. You can always pop on a second yellow. If Jessica needed one, she could just ask for one and I would pop it on for faster transitions. Big inhales, big exhales. You've only got about 20 more seconds. We have one last exercise to go. This is where we finish, right here at the front facing the back. On your next one, slide your arms out as far as they will go. Might not be very far at this point. Lift that head, shoulders depressed, gaze forward, gaze forward. There she is, hold it out. What about a little bit further? Yes, hold it out. Looks so good, Jessica. Hold it here. Hold it here. Go a little bit further. Yes, and full range for 10, 9, 8. Your elbows are coming down. Your toes are gonna tuck. We're gonna hold still. Last minute, I know. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in, elbows come down. You tuck your toes, extend immediately out. The clock has already started. The clock's already rolling. You should feel your legs. Reach your heels back. Straighten your knees. Feel the kneecaps lift up. Your quads engage. Squeeze your butt so tight. That's what's helping me the most right now with this guy hanging off the front and my planks is the hip leg squeeze. So squeeze your hips at each other. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Feel your legs get lighter when you keep that engagement. I'm telling you, it burns like the dickens. It shakes, yes, but it's gonna make your core, your spine feel lighter. Push energetically down into your elbows. We are there, you guys. 15 seconds. I've got no challenge. I just want you to fight for these last 11 seconds. Chin towards throat, breath really deep. Here we are, your best 9, 8, 7, 6. Last 5, you've got it. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, that was a good one. Take a child's pose. You earned it. And then have a good day.